The stars were silent, but the galaxy was not. A broadcast spread across thousands of worlds, carried on every channel, projected into every council chamber, every tavern, every home. It showed the flames of a human colony burning. Towers crumbled. Like sand, families screamed as alien soldiers laughed. There were no survivors. The recording ended with the alien warlord standing in the ruins. His voice echoed, sharp and cruel. "This is the fate of those who defy us. And to Earth, if you dare answer, come, show us your strength, if you have any." Billions of alien citizens laughed when they saw it. To them, humans were still a weak and fragile species from a violent, cursed world. They called Earth a Deathworld. Not with fear, but as a joke. They believed no human fleet could stand against a galactic empire. But in the dark halls of Earth's war council, no one was laughing. Admiral Mara Sayeed stood at the center of the council chamber. The faces of generals, commanders, and surviving governors looked back at her. The air was heavy, thick with silence. On the table, the hologram of the destroyed colony spun slowly. Red fires blinked, showing where millions had died. Entire districts erased. The colony's children's wards gone. General Rourke slammed his fist against the table. They butchered civilians. They butchered children. If we do not respond, then humanity is already dead. Another voice, old and tired, rose. Governor Ellison whispered, "But if we fight, we risk everything. Earth has been hiding, rebuilding. If we expose our fleets now, the galaxy will see us for what we are. We cannot go back into hiding once the fire begins." Eyes turned to Admiral Sayeed. She did not speak at first. She stared at the hologram, the faces of families she had once promised to protect. Her jaw tightened. Finally, she said, calm and cold, "They believe Earth will stay silent. They believe humans will bow. They are wrong." Her words cut through the chamber like steel. The War Council debated for hours. Some feared the cost. Some demanded caution. But the memory of the massacre, the screams broadcast across the galaxy, left no room for peace. Humanity had been mocked. Blood had been spilled. The final vote came. One by one, the councilors raised their hands. The decision was clear. Earth would answer. Deep beneath the Atlantic Ocean, in sealed hangars older than most living humans, machines stirred. Massive engines roared to life. Sealed bays cracked open after decades of silence. Black water boiled and hissed as steel giants rose from the deep in the high orbit of Mars. Hidden docks unfolded. Warships once disguised as mining platforms broke free, their armor shining like obsidian in the light of the red planet. Across the system, whispers spread. Workers, engineers, pilots all looked up at the ships rising. They understood. Humanity was going to war. One ship towered above all others. Its name burned across the hall in letters that glowed crimson. Retribution. While the fleets awakened, the galaxy spoke of humanity with scorn. Alien broadcasters mocked the vote. One commentator sneered, "What can Earth do? Throw rocks at us. Their fleets are relics. They're soldiers, primitives. This is not war, it will be extermination." In the taverns of alien space stations, drunken, voices laughed. Humans talk of honor, of children, of blood. But what can they pay us with? Their bones? But in the shadows, in places where old captains remembered the first wars with Earth, the laughter was quieter. Some remembered human tactics on bushes, desperation, weapons no sane mind would build. They remembered the whispers, "Do not corner a human. They fight hardest when nothing is left." Admiral Sayeed walked through the warship hangar, her boots echoing on steel floors. Around her, crews rushed, checking weapons, calibrating shields, preparing for a storm. She paused at the sight of young recruits, barely older than children themselves, fastening armor plates onto drones. Their faces were pale, but their eyes burned with anger. A technician saluted her. "Admiral, all systems green. The fleet is ready to move at your command." She nodded, though her eyes were heavy with sorrow. She thought of the colony's children. She thought of the families who would never come home. She whispered to herself a promise that felt like iron in her throat. We will not forgive. We will not forget. Back in the Galactic Council, chaos reigned. News of Earth's mobilization reached the chambers. Some counselors panicked. Some demanded sanctions. Others laughed even louder, declaring it proof of human arrogance. But the laughter broke when the Council's orbital sensors picked up a signal. A massive energy spike. In the void above the Council's own station, space shimmered. A shadow appeared, blotting out the stars. A warship the size of a small city drifted silently into orbit. Its hull bore no banners, no alien markings. Only one word, carved into the armor in glowing white. Retribution. The chamber fell silent. Even the loudest voices could not find words. The human dreadnought's cannons turned, not firing, only watching, as if delivering a message. Earth has heard your laughter. Earth has seen your silence. Earth has come. But still, the warlord who had ordered the massacre did not flinch. From his throne on a fortress world, he watched the dreadnought's appearance and grinned. "Good," he said, his voice dripping with malice. "Let them come. Let them show their fire. Then the galaxy will watch as I crush it from the stars." He raised his blade before his generals. No mercy, no survivors. Burn their world. Burn their future. The galaxy trembled between two choices, fear or laughter. Earth had spoken once with silence. Now, Earth would speak again with fire, and all would pay the price. The void of space was endless. But silence did not last. An emergency broadcast cut across alien networks. Merchant ships, traders, and military relays picked up the same strange message. The voice was human, low, steady, without fear. "This is Earth, to the warlord who ordered the massacre, to his empire, and to all who stood silent. This is your first and only warning. Leave our people untouched, or pay in fire." The message ended. No threats, no demands. It's only a warning. Across the stars, laughter followed. Alien commentators shook their heads. One frigate, that is all humanity sends. On distant taverns, soldiers jeered, humans bluff. They cannot fight empires. They will be ashes by the next cycle. But far from their laughter, in the shadow of a red dwarf star, a lone human frigate drifted into alien territory. Small. Outnumbered, unafraid, Captain Idris Vale stood at the bridge window staring into the dark. His ship, the Horizon Spear, was old, scarred from past battles, but alive with power. His crew was silent, waiting. Every console hummed. Every hand was ready. A signal officer whispered, "Captain, enemy fleet docked ahead." Hundreds of ships, transport carriers, patrol craft, destroyers. Vale did not flinch. His eyes narrowed. "Record this transmission." The comms officer nodded. The captain's voice carried through every channel. "This is Earth's warning. One chance. Withdraw." For 3 long minutes, no answer came. Then the aliens replied, their laughter sharp and cruel. "Human, do you think a single frigate frightens us? You are one ship against hundreds. You are nothing." Vale turned away, his voice quiet. They chose. The alien fleet continued loading supplies, soldiers mocking the lone frigate drifting in the distance. They thought Earth was playing a game of pride, a foolish show of courage. Then the Horizon Spear opened its launch bays. Not missiles, not torpedoes, but a storm of guided drones, sleek and black like steel predators. They swarmed out in silence, vanishing into the void. Alien captains shouted, "Jammers online. Stop them." But the drones did not come for the defenses. They dove into the docks themselves, weaving between cargo haulers, striking the fuel lines, slipping past shields like shadows. The first explosion came sudden and bright, a sun blooming. Inside the dockyards, the second tore through the shipyard's spine. Then, one by one, the docked ships ignited. Chain reactions ripping through the entire fleet. The Horizon Spear remained still, its cannons quiet as fire consumed hundreds of ships. On alien news networks, panic erupted. Played on loop, Entire fleets destroyed. Not in battle, but in dock. No survivors. Commentators shouted over one another. This is not defense, it is execution, the humans. They struck without warning. Fear began to spread. No one had seen war like this in centuries. Humanity had not struck a fortress, not a planet. They had struck the heart of an empire's Pradit's navy. And they had done it with one ship. Back aboard the Horizon's spear, silence filled the bridge. The crew stared at the screens, at the destruction blooming across space. Captain Vale gave only one order. Transmit. All channels. The image of burning fleets spread through the galaxy. His voice followed, calm, final. This is the price of blood. Earth does not bluff. Remember this fire? Across the galaxy, fear clashed with arrogance. Some alien leaders shouted for vengeance. The humans must be crushed before they rise further. Others whispered in private, worried. If one frigate can do this, what else are they hiding? In the Galactic Council, debates turned violent, as some demanded Earth's punishment. Others asked for peace. But when they searched for Earth's ambassadors, they found none. Humanity sent no words, only fire. Far away, on his throne world, the alien warlord received the report. His generals trembled before him, their fleets lost in a single day. The warlord's laughter shook the hall. Good, excellent. Let them come. Let them show their fangs. The galaxy thinks them monsters. Then I will break the monster before all eyes. He rose, his armored steps echoing. Prepare the armada. Gather every ship, every soldier. Will not hunt colonies. Will burn their homeworld itself. Earth will kneel in ashes. But humanity was not blind. In hidden command centers beneath Earth's surface, signals flowed. The War Council watched the galaxy react. Some feared the retaliation. Some whispered the cost would be too high. But Admiral Mara Sayeed only leaned forward, her voice cold and sharp. He is coming. Let him. The warlord thinks we are weak. He believes our fleets are relics. But he does not understand. Earth does not fight wars of pride. Earth fights wars of survival. The next days, strange signals appeared in deep space. Merchant convoys reported ships vanishing. Alien patrols went silent. Warlords' supply routes burned, destroyed by shadows. Rumors spread. Humans had more fleets. Deathworld fleets. Hidden. Waiting, but no one knew how many. No one knew where. The galaxy, once mocking, now whispered in fear. Yet the warlord did not stop. His armada gathered a storm of steel and fire, larger than any fleet seen in generations. Entire sectors bent their strength to his cause. He would crush Earth not just in battle but in spectacle. Let the galaxy watch, he said. Let them see the fire of humanity die. His fleet began to move. On Earth, families watched the news. The massacre, the retaliation, the coming storm held children close. Soldiers sharpened blades. Civilians whispered prayers. And high above them, the dreadnought Retribution loomed like a shadow of vengeance. Its cannons glowed faintly, eager for war. The galaxy had been warned once. Now it would see what came after the warning. In the darkness, between stars, alien scouts reported back in horror. The humans were not just waiting. They were advancing. Entire fleets, long hidden, were already inside the warlord's territory. And this was only the beginning. The galaxy's trade routes had always been safe. Convoys moved under the banners of empires, pirates were few, and patrols were constant. But then, the silence began. Merchant vessels entered the lanes and never returned. Patrols vanished without distress calls. Military transports went dark. Entire convoys were erased as if swallowed by the void. At first, alien officials laughed it off. Asteroid storms, navigation errors, mechanical failures, but whispers spread fast. Survivors from shattered escape pods spoke of shadows and the stars, ships appearing from nowhere, firing with terrifying precision. and vanishing before reinforcements could arrive. The survivors always said the same word: humans, at a hidden command center on Titan. Dr. Robert Chen studied the reports. A strategist, with sharp eyes and calm voice, he had spent his life modeling wars. He played the galaxy like a game of moves and countermoves. He pointed at the patterns on the holographic map. They think these are random attacks. They are not. Look here. He circled a cluster of systems. Each convoy destroyed was carrying resources bound for the warlord's fleet. Fuel, weapons, food. We are not harassing. We are bleeding him. General Rourke grunted, arms crossed. They'll notice soon. Chen shook his head. They already have. But they don't understand. They think we fight like them. They expect us to hold lines, defend colonies, wait. For sieges, his voice hardened. They don't understand that Earth learned war on a Deathworld. We fight like predators. We strike, vanish, and strike again. We fight until the prey cannot stand. In the warlord's fortress world, fury echoed through the halls. Generals reported convoys gone, patrols slaughtered, border outposts burned. The warlord slammed his clawed fist against the throne. Enough. These are gnats. Humans are rats in the dark. One of his generals hesitated, voice trembling. Lord, if rats can bleed an empire, what happens when the wolves arrive? The warlord's eyes burned. Then we crush them. Prepare the armada. No more games. Meanwhile, across the galaxy, alien news feeds showed images of shattered convoys. The once loud laughter at human weakness turned quiet. Commentators who mocked Earth before now whispered with unease. Azel, a diplomat, spoke in hushed tones on a council broadcast. Humans are not holding their territory. They are moving into ours. This is not defense. This is invasion. On board. The human dreadnought Retribution, Admiral Mara Sayeed, listened to the updates. The fleet's reports came in fast destroyed fuel lines, ambushed patrols, burned outposts. The galaxy trembled at the shadows of humanity. Yet Sayeed's face was grave, not proud. She stood before her officers. Do not mistake this for victory. These are strikes, not wars won. The warlord still gathers his fleet, and when he arrives, he will come not with whispers, but fire. One officer asked, voice unsteady, Admiral, if he brings his armada, can we stop him? Sayeed did not lie. No. Not by meeting him head-on. But we will not meet him head-on. We will cut him until his armada bleeds dry. Her eyes sharpened. And when the galaxy expects us to retreat, we will advance. That is how humans fight. In deep space, alien convoys grew desperate. Some hired mercenaries. Others begged for council escorts. But it did not matter. The shadows always came. In one battle, a convoy of 20 ships, guarded by 6 heavy destroyers, was ambushed by only 2 human cruisers. The aliens mocked them at first, till the cruisers used gravity wells to bend space itself. Enemy destroyers collided with one another. Their own fire turned against them. By the time reinforcements arrived, all that remained was debris. The aliens who escaped whispered to their leaders, they don't fight for honor. They don't fight for glory. They fight to win. The Galactic Council was thrown into chaos. Some screamed for immediate sanctions on Earth. Others begged for negotiations. A few even suggested surrendering to humanity before they grew stronger. But Earth sent no envoys, no speeches, only silence. And silence was more terrifying than words. In a secret council chamber, alien rulers argued. They are spreading fear. They must be crushed. Crushed. Then why do your convoys burn? They cannot fight forever. They are too few. Then where do these fleets keep coming from? No one had answers. The warlord, however, had an answer: vengeance. From his throne he growled, if they bleed us in shadows, then we burn them in light. We will not chase rats in corridors. We will crush the nest itself. Every ship, every soldier, to Earth. His fleet began to move. Thousands of ships. Weapons enough to erase worlds. It was the largest armada assembled in generations, but in the black void between stars. Alien scouts found something that froze their blood. They were sent to track the human convoys. Instead, they stumbled into something far worse. A massive formation of human ships, merging from stealth. Not a handful. Not a dozen. Hundreds. Entire fleets, long hidden, advancing deeper into the warlord's territory. The scouts. Final transmission was short. Not shadows. An army. They are not waiting for us. They are already here. Back on Earth, Admiral Sayeed stood at the war table. Dr. Chen's models lit up the map, showing human fleets advancing on multiple vectors. Sayeed spoke, voice calm but filled with iron. The galaxy thinks we are defending. The warlord thinks we are prey. Let them believe. Every move they make pulls them deeper into our jaws. When they reach Earth, they will already be broken. She paused, eyes narrowing on the warlord's stronghold glowing red on the map. And then, humanity will show them what a Deathworld's vengeance truly means. In the dark void, the warlord's massive armada surged toward Earth, but unknown to him, humanity's fleets were already behind his lines. The galaxy held its breath. Shadows had become fire. The Galactic Council chamber had seen centuries of debate. It was a place where disputes were settled with words, not weapons. But on this day, the chamber shook with chaos. The broadcast of burning convoys, of shattered fleets, and of human warships striking with merciless precision played on endless loops above the council floor. Delegates shouted over one another, their voices echoing like thunder in the vaulted dome. "This is madness," cried a core representative, her insect wings fluttering. "Humans strike without declaration, without honor. They are not warriors, they are predators." A Velen elder slammed his staff against the floor. "Predators they may be, but predators that bleed the warlord. Perhaps we should speak to them, ally with them, before we are next." "Ally with Deathworld spawn," another spat. "Their blood is poison. Their fire will consume us all." The council, once proud and unified, had become a battlefield of words. And the galaxy was watching. Far above them, the skies darkened. The chamber's orbital sensors detected a massive energy spike. Voices faltered. Delegates looked upward as the great ceiling dome shimmered, projecting the orbit of their station. Then the stars disappeared. A colossal shadow drifted into view. Black hole, burning engines, and weapons that gleamed like the eyes of predators. The dreadnought retribution had arrived. Gasps filled the chamber. Delegates froze. Even those who hated Earth fell silent as the warship's image stretched across the dome. Its cannons slowly rotated, not firing, simply watching. And on every channel across the galaxy, humanity's message appeared. "We warned you once. The blood of our children is not forgotten. We will answer. Who dares pay?" Panic broke out in the chamber. Some shouted for defense fleets. Others screamed for immediate surrender. Still others demanded that Earth be destroyed before their shadow spread further, but a handful of voices rose in quiet fear. "No. Don't you see? If this is only one ship, how many more are waiting? If they can place a dreadnought here above the council itself, then we are not watching them. They are watching us." Meanwhile, hidden among the observers, a Zell envoy named Ullara kept silent. Her eyes were sharp, her voice steady. She had studied humans longer than most. She knew the stories, their history, their wars, their brutal survival, and as the chamber dissolved into shouting and fear, she whispered to herself, "They do not seek conquest. They seek retribution, and if the galaxy does not understand, fire will burn us all." While the council tore itself apart, humanity did not send a single ambassador, not one diplomat. No envoy stood to explain their actions. It's only the shadow of their warship spoke. The silence was louder than any speech. Far away, on his fortress world, the warlord roared with laughter as he watched the chaos. "Look at them. Frightened children. scurrying in the dark. The humans do not frighten me, they provoke me. His generals bowed low. One dared to speak. My lord, their strikes are coordinated. Their fleets bleed us. If they are allowed to advance, the warlord silenced him with a gesture. Let them advance. Let them spread. And then I will crush them before the eyes of the galaxy. Their fire will die in my storm. He raised his blade, its edge glowing crimson. Prepare the armada, every ship, every soldier. We march for Earth. On Earth, Admiral Mara Sayeed studied the Council broadcasts. She saw the panic, the chaos, the shattered voices of rulers who once mocked humanity. Dr. Chen stood beside her, arms folded. They are breaking. If the Council cannot unite, the warlord will rule their fear. When he moves, he will not come for a colony. He will come for Earth itself. Say, his gaze remained locked on the hologram of the retribution above the Council station. Good. Let him come. Chen frowned. Good. Admiral. His fleet outnumbers ours 10-1. Sad's voice was steel. He believes numbers win wars. He believes fear breaks us. He is wrong. We'll bleed him with shadows, cut him with fire, and when his armada reaches Earth, we'll end him where the galaxy can see. In the void. The retribution drifted in silence. No words, no weapons fired. Just presence alien fleets circled cautiously, their commanders trembling at the thought of firing first. None dared. The dreadnought was not a warship in orbit. It was a message carved into the stars. Humanity has awakened. The price of blood will be paid. But the Council could not hold. Fights broke out among delegates. Entire factions stormed from the chamber. Some vowed to side with Earth, desperate to survive. Others declared humanity a threat greater than the warlord. And amid the chaos, one chilling truth spread like wildfire. The galaxy no longer laughed at humanity. The galaxy feared them. As the Council shattered, new reports arrived. The warlords. Armada thousands of ships was on the move. Their heading was clear. Earth, the galaxy held its breath. The galaxy froze as the warlords' armada moved. Thousands of ships surged forward. War cruisers, dreadnoughts, carriers, troop bargazan, avalanche of steel and fire. It was the largest fleet assembled in living memory. A storm meant to erase a world on every channel. Alien commentators declared the same. This is the end of Earth. No species survives this. Billions tuned in, expected to see humanity's silence. Its colonies burning, its fleets shattered. To them, Earth's warning fire had been nothing more than arrogance. Now the Empire would answer. The galaxy watched, waiting for Earth to break. At the colony of New Carthage, sirens screamed. Children were pulled from schools into shelters. Families huddled underground as the skies filled with shadows. The warlord ships descended, blotting out the sun. Their weapons gleamed, ready to erase another human world. Alien broadcasters narrated the moment with cruel certainty. Another massacre is at hand. Humanity's fire was only sparks. The storm comes now. But the storm did not fall as they expected. In orbit above New Carthage, the warlord's fleet approached with arrogant precision. But when the first wave entered firing range, the colony's surface changed. Mountains cracked open, revealing cannons the size of towers. Entire valleys shifted, their floors splitting apart to reveal missile silos, long hidden, and from the horizon, colossal shapes rose. Not buildings, not terrain. Starships buried in the ground, cloaked for years, lifting into the sky with thunder. The alien fleet froze as sensors screamed. Humanity had not left its colonies undefended. They had turned them into fortresses. The first volley came from the ground. Planetary cannons lit the skies, beams ripping through shields, slicing battleships in half. Human ships rose from the surface, engines blazing, launching directly into the invading fleet. The aliens expected a slaughter. Instead, they found themselves trapped. Carriers burned, destroyers shattered. Whole squadrons were erased before they could fire. The humans fought with brutal, unrelenting precision. Every strike planned. Every trap sprung. Alien generals screamed across, "Comes, retreat, regroup." But there was no escape. On the bridge of the retribution, Admiral Mara Sayeed watched the battle unfold. Her voice was calm, though her eyes were sharp as blades. They came for our colonies expecting weakness. Instead, they found our fangs. General Rourke grinned savagely beside her. Let the galaxy watch. Let them see what happens when predators are cornered. For hours, the skies above New Carthage burned. The warlord's armada lost ship after ship. The galaxy, watching live, could not believe it. The humans were not only surviving, they were winning. But the warlord himself was not yet broken. From his flagship, a monstrous vessel bristling with weapons, his voice roared across the channels. You think this victory matters? You think colonies will save you? I do not come for outposts. I come for your homeworld. He slammed his clawed hand against the command chair. All fleets leave the colonies. Burn them if you wish, but our true target is Earth. Burn their nest, and the rats scatter. The armada shifted. Wounded, bloodied, but still vast. And now it moved with one focus. Earth back on the human homeworld, sirens began to ring. Civilians poured into shelters. Cities lit up with defense grids. The War Council sat in silence as reports came in. The warlord's full force was on its way. Dr. Robert Chen studied the tactical map, his face pale. It cost him dearly at New Carthage, but his fleet is still larger than ours. If he reaches orbit, he will bombard Earth until nothing remains. Governor Ellison whispered, trembling, then we are doomed. But Admiral Sayeed shook her head. Her voice cut like steel. No. If he comes for Earth, he will find not prey, but the heart of a Deathworld. We will bleed him until his empire remembers our name in terror. Alien networks roared with chaos. Some declared humanity's victory at New Carthage a fluke. Others argued that Earth's colonies were too well defended, that their strategies were unnatural, unpredictable. But no matter the argument, the truth could not be ignored. Humanity was no longer seen as prey. And still, the warlord came. As his flagship tore through the void, he gathered his generals. They hide behind colonies, behind shadows, but they cannot hide their world. Will burn Earth before every eye in the galaxy. Let them see the Deathworld fall. Let their fire die in ashes. He leaned forward, a cruel grin across his face. And when their home burns, their courage will burn with it. On Earth, the retribution prepared for war. Its cannons glowed with power, its shields hummed with energy. Crews moved with grim determination. They knew the coming battle would decide everything, whether humanity would rise or vanish. Admiral Sayeed stood before her officers one final time. The galaxy watches us. The warlord comes with his storm. But remember, storms pass. Predators endure. If this is to be our last stand, then let it be one the galaxy never forgets. In the black void, the warlord's armada surged toward Earth, tens of thousands of weapons charged. Their light reflecting off the planet's blue oceans, the world held its breath. Humanity's fire had burned before, but could it survive the storm to come? The sky above Earth turned black. First came the shadows, fast shapes blotting out the stars. Then came the thunder, the hum of engines so massive they shook the atmosphere. The warlord's armada had arrived. Billions of humans looked upward, in silence as alien ships, dark and countless, spread across the heavens. The sun itself dimmed beneath their presence. For the first time in history, Earth's skies were not its own. The broadcasts were everywhere. Every screen, every channel across the galaxy. Billions of alien citizens leaned forward, whispering the same words, "This is the end." Commentators spoke with grim certainty. Earth cannot stand against this. No species can. On the ground, in cities across the planet, sirens wailed. Families rushed to shelters, children held close, soldiers manned defense stations. The world trembled as the storm descended. In the War Council chamber beneath the surface of Geneva, silence hung heavy. Holograms showed the armada in full, thousands of ships, entire fleets, enough to wipe worlds clean. Governor Ellison whispered, voice breaking, "There are too many. They will burn us alive." Dr. Robert Chen's voice was tight. "If they bombard the surface, billions will die before we fire a shot." General Rourke growled. "Then we take the fight to orbit. Earth doesn't wait for death. Earth strikes. All." Eyes turned to Admiral Mara Sayeed. She stood tall, her gaze locked on the hologram of Earth surrounded by fire. Her voice was calm, cold as steel. "Let them come. Let them see what we have hidden in the dark." And then the traps were sprung. From the shadow of the moon, massive shapes stirred. Vast orbital fortresses, disguised for decades as mining stations, powered up. Their cannons roared to life, each shot tearing through alien shields like glass. The warlord's fleet reeled as beams sliced destroyers apart, as carriers exploded in flame. But before they could regroup, the Earth itself answered. Oceans split as colossal platforms rose from the waves, weapons hidden since the first wars of humanity. Railguns the size of mountains fired upward, each blast punching holes in the armada. The skies became fire. The warlords' generals shouted, their voices panicked. Impossible. Their world is a fortress. But the warlord only snarled, eyes blazing. Then we break the fortress. Drive forward, crush them. His armada pressed on, trading thousands of ships for every inch of advance. Human defenses bled them dry, but still the storm came. On the bridge of the retribution, Admiral Sayeed stood as her dreadnought thundered into the heart of battle. The ship's cannons split enemy lines, shredding cruisers, scattering escorts. Around her, fleets of hidden human ships emerged, long waiting for this moment. Her officers cheered as alien vessels burned. But Sayeed's face remained grim. Do not celebrate, not yet. This is only the beginning. Below, on Earth's surface, cities burned beneath orbital fire. Shields held in some places shattered in others. Towers crumbled. Streets cracked. The ground shook with the fury of bombardment. But even as fire rained down, humanity did not break. Civilians carried the wounded. Soldiers stood their lines. Children in shelters whispered the same words they heard from their parents, their teachers, their leaders. We do not bow. Across the galaxy, the broadcasts stunned billions. What was meant to be humanity's final hour had become something else. An alien commentator's voice shook as he spoke. They are not falling. They are fighting. No species has ever stood against the warlord's armada and lived. The humans, they endure. Whispers spread like fire. Deathworlders, predators, they fight like no other. But the warlord's flagship pressed forward, its guns burning brighter than suns. From the bridge, the warlord sneered as Earth's defenses blazed. Pathetic. They bleed, but they do not win. Burn them. Burn their cities, their oceans, their skies. Let them drown in their own fire. His ship surged ahead, tearing through human lines, heading directly for the planet itself. Inside the retribution, alarms screamed. The flagship was cutting through defenses, unstoppable. General Rourke slammed a fist on the table. Can't stop that monster if it reaches the surface. But Admiral Sayeed raised her hand, eyes locked on the burning sky. Then we will stop it here, even if we must burn with it. Her voice carried through every ship in the fleet. Humanity stands. No retreat, no surrender. If we fall together. If we fight to the last breath. Let the galaxy remember. This day, the retribution surged forward, engines blazing, its cannons targeting the warlord's flagship. Around it, human ships followed, throwing themselves into the path of the storm. The void erupted into chaos ships colliding, fleets tearing each other apart, explosions turning night into endless fire. The warlord's flagship did not slow. Through the burning skies, the alien warlord's massive vessel broke through the lines, descending toward Earth itself. Its shadow fell across continents, vast enough to blot out entire cities. Humanity had bled the storm. But could they survive the monster at its heart? The warlord's flagship broke through the storm. Larger than cities, bristling with cannons, Its black hull glowed with the light of 100 battles. Entire fleets had fallen trying to stop it. Now it descended toward Earth, its shadow stretching across oceans and continents. On the ground, civilians looked up, frozen in terror. The sky was on fire, yet darker still was the vast shape blotting out the stars. Alien commentators whispered across the galaxy. The humans have fought with fury, but the beast comes now. Nothing can stop this. But on the bridge of the retribution, Admiral Mara Sayeed did not look away. Her voice was calm, sharp as steel. Target the flagship. We end this here. The battle began with thunder. The retribution surged forward, cannons unleashing a storm of fire. Beams of energy tore across the void, smashing into the warlord's shields. Dozens of escort ships flanked the human dreadnought, pouring every shot they had into the monster descending toward Earth. The warlord's flagship answered in kind. Its cannons blazed like suns, tearing through escorts, vaporizing cruisers, smashing the retribution shields. Every hit shook the human vessel. To its core, alarms screaming, consoles sparking. General Rourke growled, gripping the table. We can't take this much longer. But Saeed's voice cut through the chaos. We are not here to endure. We are here to kill. From his throne aboard the flagship, the warlord laughed. His voice boomed across comms, broadcast galaxy-wide. Is this your courage, humans? One ship against me? You think you can match my storm? You are nothing? But Admiral Sayeed's reply was steady, her words carrying like blades. You massacred children. You brought fire to our world. For that, you will pay. If we are nothing, then you are nothing to fear. The galaxy held its breath. The duel raged across the heavens. The retribution weaved through debris, its railguns hammering the flagship again and again. Flashes of light lit up the void as escorts rammed enemy cruisers, sacrificing themselves 2 by seconds more. Human pilots screamed battle cries as they dove into impossible odds, fighting with the ferocity only Deathworlders knew. But the warlord's flagship endured. Its armor was too thick, its weapons too many. It carved through human ships like fire through paper. Dr. Robert Chen's voice shook as he stared at the tactical map. We're losing too much. Even if we bleed it, it won't fall. Eyes narrowed. Then we bleed it, until the galaxy sees how predators fight when cornered. The retribution dove close, its cannons firing point blank. The warlord's flagship reeled, shields cracking, armor scarred. For the first time, the alien warlord frowned. His laughter stilled, his ship bled. Impossible, he muttered. No prey fights like this. His fury returned in a roar. Drown them, burn their homeworld, tear their courage apart. His flagship unleashed its full power, a storm of fire raining down. Dozens of human ships died in seconds, turned to dust in the void. The retribution staggered, its hull ablaze. But still it pressed forward. On Earth's surface, billions watched live feeds of the duel above their skies. They saw their fleets die. They saw their dreadnought scarred. Still they whispered the same words. Fight, fight, fight. Even children in shelters pressed their fists to their chests, whispering through tears, don't stop, don't fall. In the council chambers across the galaxy, rulers stared in silence. The humans had no right to still be alive, yet there they were, standing against the monster. Every second they endured, every blow they gave, tore cracks into the warlord's legend. Whispers spread through the alien crowds. Perhaps humans are not prey at all. The retribution's engines burned hot as it slammed into the flagship's shadow once more. Admiral Sayeed's eyes shone with fire. All fleets still fighting, she said into the comms, her voice iron. This is not just battle. This is history. We fall, let it be as predators who never bowed. Let the galaxy remember our fire. The crews cheered through static, their voices carrying through the void. Even as their ships burned, their courage did not falter, but deep beneath the Pacific Ocean, something stirred, hidden for decades, buried in secrecy, humanity's last weapon awakened. The seas boiled as a massive silhouette rose. A colossal railgun platform, larger than any warship, broke the waves, its engines roaring, its cannons glowing with energy drawn from the earth itself. On the bridge of the Retribution, officers stared. In awe, Dr. Chen whispered, "It's real, the Leviathan Project." Admiral Sayeed's voice was quiet, but unyielding. "Then let it rise. Let it fire."